Good morning. Welcome aboard the Hoosier State Flyer. We will be traveling at a top speed of 150 miles per hour, and our trip from Terre Haute to Indianapolis will take approximately 35 minutes. Those of you who have connecting airline flights will deboard at Indianapolis International Airport. Your luggage has already been checked through to your destination and will be transferred to your flight as soon as we arrive. For those of you continuing on to downtown Indianapolis and to Cincinnati, we ask that you remain seated when we stop at the airport. During the trip, we invite you to visit our dining and club cars, relax, and enjoy your ride on America's finest high-speed train.
Hey, hold on. There aren't any high-speed trains in Indiana. The only trains I ever see are freight. What do you mean, Indiana high-speed rail hub?
I'll tell you in just a minute. First, we need to set our stage with Gary Fadley.
American passenger trains were once the envy of the world. This is the Zephyr, nicknamed the Silver Streak. Actually, there were 4 Zephyrs. Beginning in 1936, they ran at speeds of 100 miles per hour or even faster on parts of their routes between Denver, Chicago, and the Twin Cities. This type of train was called a streamliner. Millions of people rode them every year. Stations like Union Station in Indianapolis were grand and crowded. But things began to change drastically in the 1950s and 1960s when the federal government spent billions of dollars to build airports and the interstate highway system. Naturally, with that kind of governmental support, the auto and the airliner became king and queen of the passenger business. Railroads couldn't compete, so they gave up on passengers. In 1971, most railroads got out of the business completely when Congress set up Amtrak. Indiana had its own streamliners. In 1946, John W. Barringer became president of the Monon. Everything about the Monon was antiquated, but Barringer turned it into a modern, profitable railroad. The Hoosier Line became part of Indiana history.
Thanks, Gary. President Eisenhower wanted the interstate highway system, and he made sure it got built. Indianapolis is called the hub of the system because more interstate highways connect with it than any other city in the U.S. That's not because everyone likes my hometown as much as I do. It's because we're right in the center of things. The interstates have been wonderful, but highway congestion is slowing things down. It's not too much different from driving when you had to go through all those little towns with their stop signs and traffic lights, and every year it just gets more congested and slower. Airlines have been great too, but airport congestion is getting to be a very serious problem. Chicago's O'Hare Airport, where we Hoosiers often have to change planes, is the busiest airport in the world. Every year, it gets more crowded. Some people want to expand it, and others want to build another huge airport. But there is fierce opposition to both plans, so delays just get worse with no relief in sight. That's why high-speed rail is beginning to take off. It's the only way to take the pressure off highways and airports. America is starting to catch up with Japan and a lot of European countries that have discovered the benefits of high-speed rail. The Northeast Corridor is a natural for high-speed trains. It's on the East Coast, which is actually one big city stretching from Boston down to Washington. Soon the American Flyer trains, like the one you saw at the opening of this video, will travel up to 150 miles per hour on the Northeast Corridor. This isn't some dream, but a project that is already underway. Florida is even more ambitious. By the year 2004, there will be a 200-mile-per-hour train between Miami and Orlando. A few years later, it will go into Disney World in Tampa, later to other Florida cities. There's plenty going on in the heartland, too. Indiana belongs to the Midwest High-Speed Rail Compact, which has 7 members. The state of Michigan, in cooperation with Indiana and Illinois, is forging ahead with high-speed service between Detroit and Chicago. While we don't have an exact route yet, it will go through Northwest Indiana. This will be the first high-speed route through Indiana. Although it will only go a short distance through our state, it will provide Indiana with access to downtown Chicago and O'Hare Airport. That will open an opportunity for us to build such routes as Indianapolis to Chicago. Over the years, new routes will be added. Indiana can look forward to becoming the hub of the Midwest high-speed rail system, for the same reason that it is now the hub of the interstate highways. It's because of our central location. That's why we call this video Indiana High-Speed Rail Hub. Right now, our Department of Transportation is finding out which routes are ready for high-speed rail service. Here are Tom Beck and Matt Brooks of the Railroad Section.
The Indiana Department of Transportation has provided a grant for a feasibility study of high-speed rail in Indiana. We have been working with the Indiana High-Speed Rail Association, whose members volunteer their time to help bring fast trains to Indiana. Public-spirited citizens can make a big difference to the future of Indiana.
With our passenger rail study, Indiana is capable of making informed decisions where high-speed services make economic sense for Indiana. Our Department of Transportation is examining routes that may go through such communities as Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Terre Haute, Lafayette, and others.
One of the big advantages of rail is that it is easy on the environment. The Hoosier Environmental Council supports it too. Here is Executive Director Jeff Stant.
The Hoosier Environmental Council strongly endorses high-speed rail. It's the most energy-efficient and environmentally friendly mode of transportation there is. For too long, passengers have been limited to driving or flying, and we're all paying the price now in the form of road and airport congestion, air pollution, and the destruction of nature to build more highways and airports. Did you know that 2 railroad tracks can carry as many passengers in an hour as 16 lanes of highway? Not only do highways take more land than railroads do, they cause urban sprawl, which has turned millions of acres of farm and forest land into suburbs and shopping malls. Railroads generate more compact development in the area of the train station. High-speed rail can bring our inner cities back to life by generating downtown economic development. I salute the efforts of the Indiana High-Speed Rail Association to bring you a new travel option. By starting a high-speed rail program now, Indiana will reap environmental and economic benefits for many decades. Our grandchildren will wonder how we got along without it and will thank us for having the foresight to get it started.
With that kind of support, high-speed rail is going places in Indiana. Just imagine, you don't have to make that drive to Chicago, Indianapolis, or Louisville anymore. Instead, you step on board an aerodynamic train, settle into your comfortable seat, and take out a book or your portable computer. Fax machines and telephones will also be available. An attendant brings you a soft drink. In a short time, you're going about twice as fast as you could have driven, and in the world's safest transportation. When you get to your destination in an hour or so, you won't be worn out from fighting traffic. You'll be rested and ready for that business meeting or that shopping trip or anything else. So come on, get aboard high-speed rail in Indiana. Contact the Indiana High-Speed Rail Association to learn how you can help. There's information at the end of this video. The more people who show interest, the sooner high-speed rail will come to Indiana. Our next stop is Gary, then downtown Chicago. Those passengers who are connecting with flights at O'Hare, please stay in your seats. And the final stop is the intermodal terminal. Then follow the directions to your gate and your luggage will be transferred to the airplane. We hope your trip is a pleasant one and we look forward to taking you home on your return.
Now this is the way to go.